You might have already heard the recent news about Episode 9, but I didn't want to let this one pass without bringing it to your attention, giving some of my thoughts on the topic, and seeing what all of you have to say as well. On Tuesday, March 12th, appearing on the Today Show, Poe Dameron actor Oscar Isaac revealed that based upon what J.J. Abrams and Lucasfilm have done with Episode 9, this will be the end of the Skywalker Saga.
Well, in addition to this film, you have another little film coming out. I can't remember the name. Oh, yeah, Star Wars. That's right. That's the one.
Tiny thing.
I know those things are kept under lock and key. Is there anything that you are putting out there that fans have to look forward to with this new one?
Well, I think just it is the end of the entire Skywalker saga.
Wow.
9 stories, and this is the culmination of the thing. And I think what JJ's done, and really the whole Lucas team, is going to be incredibly fulfilling and also special for us because you'll get to learn a lot more new things about these characters.
The quote has been widely reported on in the digital media, but I'll put up the full quote as it appears on IndieWire.com. Together with the press release from last summer, it appears that Episode 9 will be the last representation of the Skywalker Saga, which of course began with Anakin Skywalker in Episode 1. I've seen a bit of the reaction to this quote and the idea of the sequel trilogy being the end of the saga, and it covers the entire spectrum. On the one end, fans might be disappointed that this seems to be it for the saga that we've all loved for so long, with our favorite characters. And in that way, it's certainly bittersweet. Others might be disappointed in a way where perhaps not being the biggest fan of the sequels, the saga ends on a real downer. The idea being that the saga could benefit if additional Skywalker-focused stories came after this sequel era. I do understand these perspectives, but I personally feel a bit of hope when I hear that Episode 9 will be a culmination of stories that preceded it through the originals and the prequels. First, even with Oscar Isaac's quote, it's hard to put 100% trust in the idea that this is it. The future is always in motion, as you all well know. Today's ending to the Skywalker saga could be tomorrow's episodes 10 through 12. At the very least, it's impossible to imagine a complete end to the saga outside of the films. There's also something to be said about how you define Skywalker Saga. Is it just the tragedy of Vader? Is it Anakin's story? Is Luke part of it now in perpetuity? Is Rey? But all that aside, and looking at this from just a creative standpoint and what I'm hoping to see in Episode 9, I'm happy to see that the final installment of the sequels is being connected in this way to the entire story. I'm talking about the prequel and the original trilogies. I think one of the main issues for me with Episodes 7 and 8 is just how distant it feels from the characters and events of the earlier stories. Sure, there are visual callbacks and a few connections pointed out here and there, but these are stories told in the same galaxy where the Clone Wars happened, the Galactic Civil War happened, and both not all that long before the era the New Republic finds itself in during this new trilogy. This, of course, is coming off of last week's criticisms from Mark Hamill regarding the treatment of the OT characters in the new trilogy. For me personally, I was hoping to see the sequel trilogy act as the resolution for failures that were the basis for each of the earlier trilogies. The failure of the Jedi to eradicate the dark, and the failure of the Sith to eradicate the light, with the story of one family at the center of all of it. In this sense, Episodes 7 through 9 could always tell its own original story, but it also had to reveal the resolution of these earlier actions. It had to have a basis for why we needed this specific story in this specific timeline. In my opinion, it does this by building upon the saga, by acting as the bookend for the 2 previous trilogies. It will be difficult for Episode 9 to completely change everyone's opinions about the sequel trilogy, if not impossible. But I have always hoped that Episode 9 doesn't just tell us the story of how the conflict between Kylo and Rey, between the First Order and the Resistance, is resolved. That would be fine for the sequels alone. But I want to see Episode 9 as the culmination of the entire thing, of the story that began with Anakin in Episode 1, played out in events and materials that can be classified as the Skywalker Saga. I'm very hopeful that Oscar Isaac's words this week are pointing in that direction. Does the Skywalker Saga need to end with Episode 9? I'd say no, but if it does, I really hope it remembers where it began. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Let me know what you think about Oscar Isaac's quote and your thoughts on the potential for Episode 9 to be the end of the Skywalker Saga. Also let me know what you think about this style of video, cause I would love to do more of them. Thank you for watching everyone, and as always, may the Force be with you.